Deborah, it's the 40th anniversary of Manon.
I'd love to hear, knowing Kenneth and what I presumed is such a strong character he was, whether he had any doubts when it was first performed.
I think he always had doubts. I think he was terrified going up to the first night of anything. And Manon came after a very tough time with the critics. He'd just taken over in 1970 as artistic director, and the first ballet he did was Anastasia, and they threw the book at him, and he had a bit of a breakdown. So the next one, which was Manon, he was very determined to play it a little bit more carefully. So it's got quite a good 19th century structure, in that you have diverts and pas de deux and things, and the structure of the three acts is like a 19th century ballet, but it breaks new ground. I mean, he was again dealing with flawed characters, human characters, not fairy tale characters. And that was tough at that time because ballet was still stuck in a sort of classicism that wasn't prepared to move forward. So every time he did a ballet, when he wanted to use real people in real situations, he was very nervous.
I think what hit me big time when you look at that cast that he worked with is how brilliant he was at typecasting people into roles.
Yes.
Did they really believe that he got it right for them?
I think they trusted him all the time, and I think because he had a great track record of great casting and finding people like he found you when you were hardly out of nappies.
Thank you.
I mean, you were 19 or something when,
yeah, that's right.
When he did Pagodas for you. I think people genuinely trusted what he was going to do, and they would have, they've gone to the ends of the earth for him. That was what was so wonderful.
I do remember not ever wanting to let him down, actually. These pas de deux in Manon are probably the most difficult in some of his ballets he's ever done. Yes,
at the time he was obsessed with ice skating.
Oh, okay.
And I remember when he was rehearsing, at one point I heard him say, like skaters. So all those swirling pas de deux.
That image is perfect.
Yeah.
Because we literally had to glide along the floor in every slide, in every lift, take off out of a lift as you were traveling.
Yeah.
And it was so hard for the guy. Because nothing ever was square. No. Nothing ever was straight. He wanted every angle, every lean, every change of direction.
Which must be counter to all the training, really. The thing is that if you're telling a story about great love, which then becomes traduced and broken down by circumstance, you have to say to the audience, these people have fallen passionately for each other. So all restrictions are off. It's not safe. It's, the boy's hardly ever touched a girl. He's on his way to the seminary and she's on the way to the convent. An upright pas de deux with everything perfectly in place and vertical is not going to give the audience that impression that they've risked everything, which he does for love.
I'd love to ask you if you think that Kenneth and his path of all the extraordinary choreography that he did in his time, does he feel that maybe you have to produce stuff that will be slightly scandalous? Or did he just want to break up the mold of what was being produced at that time?
The interesting thing for me living with him was that I don't think it was calculated. The idea would grab him. He'd find the music, or he would have found the music first, and he knew he had to be different right at the beginning. He knew that he had to find his own voice. And it was the idea. And I think that's why these works have lasted. He used to say, it's like a giant jigsaw puzzle and I can't find the missing piece. And working with him, he would reject and reject and reject.
Over and over, yeah.
It's very hard for you, very beautiful dancers, very beautiful people, to make ugly shapes. And when I have watched him choreograph, and dancers get into these phenomenal positions and do extraordinary things, and he'd say, no, I don't like that. And I think, why not? It's wonderful. What's wrong with him?
But I always felt that sometimes he was trying to make me look ugly. I was going, why do you want me to look ugly in this position? And he'd go, no, that's just what I want. Now you get the feeling of the character. And I go, oh, yeah.
When did you first do Manon? I can't remember.
When I was first due to do it, actually, Kenneth took me out.
Yes, well, because, yes, I remember
that's right, you
that.
don't have to explain.
No, I know, but people used to get upset if he took people out, but his argument always was, I don't want this to be wrong for them.
He was the only one that actually told me why.
Yeah.
And
You know, that you'll do it, but this is the wrong time.
No, well, that was fine, and I mean, we knew why it happened, because I'd just done Winter Dreams with Eric, and that being a success, and our partnership in that being.
But that was made on the two of you,
made on
and
us.
That's the difference.
Exactly. So then we stepped into Manon thinking that the partnership would be perfect in those roles, and of course the ballet hadn't been made on us.
No.
So there we were fighting with our bodies, and Manon is one of those roles that the main couple have to be like this.
Yeah.
They their bodies have to entwine and feel as natural as possible together.
Yes, it's true. Critics used to ask me, who's your favourite Manon? And I used to get really fed up. So finally I said to one of them, oh, look, what you don't understand is it was all worked out on me at home in the nude as a joke. And she wrote it.
Oh, fabulous.
And then I thought, oh, God.
So I was very lucky to
Well,
have
he
Kenneth
was
at the
too.
beginning of my career.
I know, but he was too, because
amazing.
to come upon and to be able to use a talent that trusts and is open to anything, doesn't come with a whole lot of preconceived ideas. What he wanted to do was get stuff done, right up until he died. I mean, he said to me he wasn't doing anything else after Judas Tree, but I then discovered after he died that he'd committed to another 3 one-actors.
Has he really?
Yes, I know. Well, I mean, it was his lifeblood, you know. I knew that.
But I want to go and tell all the dancers now, go and think you're an ice skater.
Yeah.
Think that you take off from a lift at that angle, you know, from a jump, you know, as you're traveling. I mean, all those things. I'd love to give them that image, because I think it would just click. They go, exactly.